If you're fed up with earning bugger all and you want to move to the country with the highest minimum wage, then Australia isn't for you. Apparently it's Luxembourg, but Australia's a close second. But when you get here and you want to go for the really big bucks, what are the best paying jobs in Australia? Well, according to the ATO, they're the people who take your money at the end of the year. These are the 10 highest paying jobs in Australia right now. Coming in at number 10 with an average wage of $169,000 a year are financial investment advisors. What, are those the people that tell you who to put your money with? Is that like tipping and gambling? But apparently they can pick where the stocks and shares are gonna go. Why are we paying them so much money? Well, they can't be very good at predicting the finances, otherwise they'd be paid a lot more. At number 9 with an average wage of $177,000 are CEOs and managing directors. I guess that depends on the company that you work for, because those CEOs are the big ones are probably on super big bucks. It's just the little companies that are bringing them down. I wish I got paid that much. But I guess if you're going to make the big decisions, then you deserve the big bucks. But there's a fair few of them, with about 224,000 of them listed as that is their job in Australia. I guess everyone's a CEO of their own company. Does that mean tradies who are sole traders are also CEOs? You tell your mates that down the pub. At number 8 with a massive step up in money, with $193,000 as an average wage, are judges or legal professionals. And considering when I came to Australia that there was automatically a lot less crime than in the UK, there's only 4,000 of them in Australia. Guess there's a little bit less crime in a country full of convicts, eh? What a crap joke. On a serious note, I saw in the national news today a tradie had lost over $3,000 in tools because they'd been nicked from his ute. If the UK reported stuff like that, it would just be a never-ending stream of tradies getting their vans broken into. At number 7 is a job which you probably wouldn't realise would be in the list, but when you think about it, there's a lot of money to be made in it. With an average wage more than judges of $196,000 a year are mining engineers. And these are probably the ones that have to fly in and fly out. So if you know how to mine more effectively and keep everything running, come on down. And to put this all into perspective of what does the average Australian earn, when I say average, I don't mean all of the wages put together and then just divided by the number of Australians. I mean, what does the middle Australian earn? And for perspective, right now in Australia, that's just over $68,000 a year. So these guys are making big bucks. At number 6, we're starting to get into the jobs that you probably expect to be in this list. And with an average wage of just over $250,000 are GPs and other medical practitioners. Now I know they're a necessary service, after all, they do keep us alive, but when we're all now finding it hard pressed to find a bulk bill GP, you gotta wonder, are they paying themselves too much? And by the way, other medical practitioners counts as radiologists and pathologists. And like me, you still might be wondering what they are. Now number 5 seems contradictory to me because I once heard someone claim that Australia had some of the worst mental health services in the world. Because we're remote, because you can't go and see your mates in other countries apparently. Well then why are psychiatrists with an average wage of $270,000 a year getting paid so much? You'd like to think if they got paid that much, they'd be pretty good. And no, I don't think the mental health services are terrible in Australia. I think they're pretty good. But with an average wage of 270 grand, maybe the answer of improving them isn't necessarily paying psychiatrists more. Or is it? Now with wages, we're starting to get a big step up now into number 4. With an average wage of $334,000 are internal medicine specialists. I take it they're the doctors that look inside of you. Bit weird. Now apart from the fact that these doctors have an amazing specialism to be able to diagnose many of the diseases that manifest inside of us, I'm also surprised that there are over 10,000 of them in Australia. There's only 3 times as many GPs. I know what it is. They're all retraining and becoming internal, aren't they? More money. Now number 3 on Australia's highest paid list is probably one of the jobs that you think we could probably do without. Doctors, yeah, I get it. We need them. We definitely need them. But financial dealers with an average wage of over $340,000 a year, you get that much money for just offering financial advice to other rich people so that they can do big fancy high budget gambling. I wish I had more money. That is a lot of money for buying and selling stocks. Bankers, aren't they? Now job number 2 for the highest paid wages in Australia are kind of the ones that you need if ever you get in a bad way. And it doesn't surprise me that there's only about 3,300 of them in Australia. But with an average wage of over $426,000 a year, you definitely don't want to underpay the guy who's giving you all the drugs when someone else is cutting you open. Anaesthetists. Definitely a job you don't want them to get wrong. But should they be paid as much? And then the highest paid job in Australia with a wage of over $457,000 a year, unsurprisingly, goes to the big time doctors. You guessed it. It's the surgeons. Understandably, the job that takes over twice as long when you're even trained as a doctor. I, for one, feel quite happy that the highest paid job in Australia are the people that I need to save my life. Now, I'd like to think that if you're one of these top 10 people, there's probably a visa out there to move to Australia for you. But if you're not one of these top 10 and you're wondering if you can make a life in Australia with your job, then watch this video. Let's see if you're on the list. See you later.